Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you very much for joining me today for another card making tutorial, and it's our Monday colour challenge this week. So this series of videos has been fueled by some challenges that have been posted into one of the craft forums I'm a member of, and apparently they're not going to do it anymore. This is the last one, so if you'd like to see me do some challenges, then more than happy to have some suggestions off you. But this is the last one in terms of that particular source of inspiration for me. And to finish that off, we're using Blushing Bride, Bermuda Bay and Crumb Cake. So I had a little think, I like to try and do something a little bit different with the colours, and try and think a bit sort of outside the box a little bit. And I have decided to go with a different layout altogether and do this card. Okay, so doing some layering with the colours, bringing in the crumb cake just in the background there, to make this card. All right, so let's we're going to sort of invert it, if you like. We'll mix up the colours. So what I've got here is we're sticking with a crumb cake card base, switching out the layer for the Blushing Bride and some basic white on there, and we're going to do our flowers in Bermuda Bay. So I've already got a couple of those cut. The blooms come from Colour and Contour, which has a coordinating die with it, although it is reasonably easy to fussy cut. You could equally use the solid image and die cut that too, for a bit of variation. And we've got this cool splatter which just gives some interest to the background card. But I wanted a long thin sentiment to go across, and these ones just didn't quite have what I wanted. So I pulled out this ornate thanks, which has these lovely straight elongated sentiments, which can pair up to make other sentiments too. So we've just pulled out that to create that. All right, so there's some bits and pieces. We'll get our bloom stamped in Bermuda Bay, one of my all-time favourite colours. First polymer stamp, just some light tapping, very clearly inked. Press down firmly and you'll see it make contact with the card and lift up, and you get a lovely sharp image every time. And just to put a bit of colour into the petals, I'm just using a Wink of Stella brush, which will not only add some sparkle but also pulls in the colour from that outline and brings it into the petals, just to break that white up a little bit. It's not much, but it probably comes across better in real life. Just dragging that out a little bit, and we get some sparkle on there too. So Wink of Stella is a fantastic product to have in your arsenal. The coordinating die is easy to line up if you know what you're looking for. So I usually use this square petal that's all on its own as my marker to line up my die. Okay, and if I look on here, there it is. There is a sort of a square bit on there, but this one's sort of sticking out on its own, so that's the one that I'm going to use to line up the rest of my image, and just sort of twist it round until you see the other bits come into place. Just tack that down, and we can run that through the die cut machine and close up that ink pad before we have a mishap. So just running that through, and then that's ready to go onto the card. So that's done, beautifully cut, no problem. Okay, this little strip here is literally just an offcut out of my scrap bin, which just so happened to be the right width. So it's a funny measurement, what I shall do is tell you that the stamp itself is about 1/2 inch, so you want to make it probably sort of 1/8 wider than that. So that's a bit of a funny in between measurement, because it was just what was in my scrap bin, but it did serve the purpose, so we're going to use it. Alright, so I'm just going to position that in the middle, and like I say, because it's quite a straight sort of design on the script, it's very easy to line up onto a strip of card like that. You could alternatively sort of stamp it along the bottom of a piece of card, so say along here, and then trim it back so that you get the size image that you want. So to cut that down, I'm just going to bring in the paper trimmer, and I'm just going to line up my letters about there. It's just visible through this bit here, and I'm going to flip it round, do the same, which was about there. Cut that too, and we should get a nice evenly spaced border either side of that. Okay, so that's our sentiment done. So the next step is just to stamp the background on our card base. So I'm just going to bring in some scrap grease paper there, and we're going to use the crumb cake for a tone on tone sort of stamping. So just using this sort of splattery stamp just to add some interest to there. Rotate the stamp, rotate the card, and just get that filled in. Make it nice and random. So it's just another level of interest for the behind the layers, really. Completely optional, don't have to include it, but I think I always like I always try and use all 3 ink colours when I'm doing one of these challenges. It's just a thing that I do. Right, give that a good crease and have that ready for all the layers. Okay, so we just need to get these all layered up now. So just going to use my trusty seal for that. These layers are slightly smaller than my standard layers, so I took off an extra 1/4 inch just so that we had more of the card base showing. So the blushing bride is 3 3/4 by 5.5. And the white is an 1/8 smaller, so it is going to be 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so those are the measurements if you want to do exactly the same one that I've done. So again, we just want some seal on there just to add that to the card. Just eyeballing your borders at the bottom there. Make sure everything looks even. And just reinforce that top crease. So these guys are going to go onto the card with dimensionals. So I'm just going to stick one on the back of each of those. And then we're going to have one at each end of that, just so that it straddles across the rest of the design. So positioning the flowers then, what I want to do is not have them all sort of in the same orientation, if you know what I mean. So just using, you know, one of the petals as a sort of guide, if you like. So I'm going to use this sort of double petal. That's going to go at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to put it at the top in the middle. Then I'm going to put the one at the bottom. So I don't want that top petal at 12 o'clock. Let's rotate it round a bit and put it down like that maybe. And we'll put that in position at the bottom. And then again, we don't want this in the same orientation, so we'll twizzle it that way instead, and I'm going to put that in the middle in between those two, and then you're certain to get your spacing all nice and even. Okay, and then this sentiment I've cut smaller than the original. I thought the original one was just a little bit long, and I've just caught the edge of that on something. Let's just use a bone folder and just flatten that out. I seem to have squashed the edge somewhere along the line, and we'll position that there. We could put it up there, but I think it looks better here. Completely your choice when you make your own version of this card, should you wish to, or use it as a starting point for your own design. And that's not straight. See if we can get it straight, shall we? That's better. It's close enough anyway. Okay, so there we go, guys. Colour challenge for you, using Colour and Contour and Ornate Thanks. Two different versions for you to have a look at, mix around, do something with. Yeah, hope you like it. Thanks ever so much for joining me. All the products that I've used today are listed in the description bar. Do take a look. They will take you straight to the shop where you can add them to your basket should you wish to purchase anything. As always, thank you everybody for stopping by and watching. Hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye.